Hi, in this video I'm going to present to you my 2 tracks created solely on Polyend Tracker Mini. So it will be a tips and tricks video, but also a little bit of a review and comparison to original tracker, which I also have. Let's go. This is me with the Polyend Tracker in Venice. This is the first device in a long time that I decided to take on vacation. It turned out that it fits perfectly in my jacket pocket, and launching it and loading the project takes only a few seconds. Therefore, it was the perfect companion when traveling on water trams, and I could also listen to the sketches I created while walking with my dog Mietek. During those walks, usually some ideas for new parts were coming to my mind. I noticed that Tracker Mini has a great screen. It is bright enough even for the sunny days. So it was perfect for me while waiting for a coffee or a glass of wine. That way I created most of the parts you're hearing now using the note generation and modulation functions. Slate VSX headphones were a great companion for my tracker. Lastly, it is worth adding that the device can operate on batteries continuously up to several hours. The box includes a super high quality hard case, USB-A power adapter with 2-meter long USB-C cable, stereo 3.5mm to 2 mono 6.3mm adapter, mini jack to mini DIN adapter, 16 gig micro SD card with a reader, and a Tracker Mini essential reference book. So when you buy a Tracker Mini, you're completely covered, no need to buy anything extra. As you can see, Mini is actually the smallest in the Polyend range, and I'm going to compare it to the older tracker. Let me just show you one of my older projects. So basically Mini is a groove box, a pocket version of its older brother, and both devices allow you to create and play 8 track projects consisting of up to 255 sequences like this, and each can have up to 128 steps, and you can load 48 samples into RAM from your 16 gig SD card. And of course, same here. But here you can load stereo samples, and here they are converted automatically to mono. Compared to the original tracker, Mini version lacks radio receiver, there is no jog, there is no pads for tapping the rhythms, but the Mini has built-in microphone, and when connected via USB, the signal from each track here can actually be sent to your DAW and also from the effects. So basically Mini is a 12-track audio interface that allows you to send MIDI messages and audio via USB. Tips and tricks time. I have not created this track. I'm going to present to you in front of a computer. I was taking tracker to some nice places with Slate VSX headphones, very nice headphones, low impedance, great bass and silky mid-range. And also I was trying to work in a more reclined position to find some free space, if there was any, of course. And actually this is very cool because it allows you to reach all functions with your thumbs, like this or like this. You can cross fingers here. It's a rubber finish, so it's very nice to touch, it's very light, and it's just wonderful to work with. First trick, let's modulate the filter cutoff smoothly. So look, in this FX1 column, we've got L parameter, low pass filter, slowly decreasing. It's easy to program, just go up here, shift up to select the whole column, and then just press the rec mode, fill, and fill each step with the low pass filter from the values you want. So the next tip is just use LFO. So this is one of the sounds. I'm pressing now 2, and here you can see the filter is already engaged, and I'm pressing 2 again. So you can see that the LFO is actually actively modulating volume and cutoff. But when I press 1 and I go up here, you'll see that the filter LFO is actually being modulated. It has a different value for this step, and hence it sounds like this. Don't be afraid to use long samples. 3, hold instrument. This one is 25 seconds long. Actually, programmed in second or third pattern, it will run until it is stopped in pattern 8 by this off parameter. You can see it here now. Press 2 twice and then more to apply beat depth and overdrive to, particular sounds like this. So this is my bass. I think it sounds great now. Another thing you can do, you can select the pattern. I'm holding the pattern and using master volume plus minus to select the pattern, and now I enter the record mode and choose more, and I can expand and shrink pattern. Look, the original one was like this. But when I expanded it, it actually is being played twice as slow. So let me present it to you in the context. Next coffee, and my next tip is huge. Program patterns that are at least 64 or maybe 128 steps long. Why? Look, most of my sequences are 64 steps long, and there are some that are even longer, like this one. Let's take this drums. I actually programmed 32 step long sequence, and then I pressed rec more and duplicated it twice, so I got this long sequence, and then I just programmed small breaks like this. And now I can easily program the arrangement with such 8-bar loops. My next tip is about programming patterns. Look, let's compare patterns 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. You can see that some elements are the same, some use the same notes, but in some cases there are also some additional effects. So how did I do it? So having at least one good pattern, I just pressed red and then I copied it onto the next. So I have to choose an empty one, for instance, like this. I press here, I paste. I make some changes now, and then I copy it again, like this, to the next, paste, and I make some other changes. And that way I programmed, a sequence of patterns. So let me play it to you from pattern 11. Exactly. Next tip, having pre-programmed patterns is very easy to gel them together in the song view. I'll show you that now. So I will just enter some new slots here, and I just have to, assign patterns to those slots. So I will repeat that ending now. So pattern 20th, 21st, and then number 6, and then number 8. And this is my ending. One more slot, pattern 8. And let's listen to it now. And of course I can view patterns here also. So it's extremely easy to program the whole song that way. Stay tuned, I have one more arranging technique. You don't have to create patterns here in the pattern view. You can also create them here by combining different parts. So let's imagine we're having an empty slot. So I'm choosing an empty pattern here. And now I only have to choose parts I want to have in my new pattern. So I copy this loop here, Shift copy. I also will use some of these drums here. So I press copy and I just go here and paste them, or maybe I just choose those parts here, copy, and I paste them here. And maybe I will use some, bass or drums from here. So I just press copy here, I go down and paste here. And we can now listen to our pattern. So this is a unique pattern. There is no such pattern in the whole arrangement. So far you could see me switching between different menus using 1, 2, 3, 4 or Shift 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could also preview samples here. But I can actually process sounds offline. I just have to enter the menu here, choose Sample Editor, and now look, these are all offline operations like reverse, for instance, or cropping, or overdrive, or even a delay here. And some effects might take a while to preview. There's also an equalizer, if you like, and a nice beat crusher applied totally offline. Next tip, if it sounds musical, randomize everything you can. So here are my hi-hats. As you can see, they have been generated automatically. And now I also randomized its parameters like panning or beat depth or bandpass. So the second column is for panning exclusively. So I just had to, go up, Shift up, rec, fill, and for each note I just randomized panning. The truth is, most small machines, small groove boxes are pretty limited in terms of what kind of EQ or compression you can set for each sound or for each track. So just use filters, and usually it's enough to make something sound really good. Look at this. So this droplet sound has definitely too much low end, so I just entered the settings here. I am choosing the high pass filter. And I can set it accordingly. And don't be afraid to use a lot of reverb. It should sound really cool now. Cool. Use ping-pong delay to create sound bouncing from left to right channel and to get a wider sound overall. To edit a sound, just press Instrument and +- and then the button number 2. And then you can set the send level for the delay, but there are also some more settings in the Master tab. Just press 4 twice if necessary, or 3 times, and then you find delay here. So just turn on the ping-pong mode and raise the feedback level. Don't be afraid to use the master module. You'll find it here. There is a wonderful saturate module. There is a nice subtle bass boost, but just be careful with the space module, especially with the 1 and 2 settings, and don't be afraid of higher settings. I'll just show it to you now. So depending on how loud is your mix, the overdrive or drive plus may be just a little bit too much, but this bass boost works pretty well actually. And there is also EQ. And as you can see, I used it. In the menu here, you can also find the perform mode. And you can program some slight nice modulations here, so it actually can work pretty well. So I thought at this point you might want to hear the whole over 3-minute track, and then I will talk about strengths and weaknesses of Tracker Mini. Time to summarize. I think Polyend Tracker Mini is a very well designed device. It's small, it's very light, and also it is ergonomic and has a nice bright screen, so you can use it even outdoors in sunlight. But to my surprise, actually the music I created using it seemed to be more refined in terms of arrangement than the sketches I created using my digital audio workstation. I think this is due to the fact that the song mode is pretty intuitive, and also that you can copy and merge patterns and modify them very, very easily. Also, the big advantage of the device is the ability to generate parts like patterns, MIDI, or also effects. So in some genres like drum and bass or techno, you can generate most parts that way. So even without in-depth knowledge of music theory, you can create pretty fast some unexpected results, and it may sound pretty good. So I think worth noting is also the long operating time on batteries. Sometimes I forgot to, switch it off for like 2 or 3 hours, and still there was plenty of battery to use. So, and also it starts up really, really quickly from the place you end it. You switch it off, you turn it on, and it takes just a few seconds. So, are there any downsides? Let's have a look. Well, due to the lack of a pad keyboard in the Mini model, programming melodic parts is a bit of a challenge. This requires either a very clear vision of where and at what pitch the sound should appear, or a lot of patience at inserting parts and by trial and error one by one, because you just have to do it like this. Also, offline processing, available in the Mini here, also requires some patience, especially when you process long samples, because the preview may take a few seconds. However, browsing samples and listening to them works pretty well, and it's fast from the SD card. Well, of course, you can hook up a MIDI keyboard to your tracker. This one actually is called MIDI Plus X3 Mini. There is a smaller one, X2. It has a DIN MIDI out, and it can be powered off even using a small power bank like this one. And entering melodies is no longer a problem. However, if you want to enter a chord, you will see commands on 3 tracks here, and you've got only 8 tracks. So me personally, I'd rather use chord samples. I just choose the right chords and transpose them if needed. And the 48 sample limit is satisfying. I think you won't need more. And actually, you can load quite long samples. There is a healthy amount of RAM. So loading long samples, you can then slice them, divide them into smaller pieces and trigger them individually. So you can actually bypass the limit. And there is a good reverb. There is a limiter EQ, so you can get really good sounding electronic music out of this box. So it's pretty well designed. It's very light, very powerful, and if you want more professional results, just hook up the USB-C, and you can get audio over USB. Each track separately, plus sense, plus the master. And also we can export tracks that way, so we can just copy it to your computer. So it actually is pretty versatile. Highly recommended.